Welcome to Milo's Mods, ladies and gentlemen. So this is another episode of Blaster Chat. Today we're going to be talking about metal internals and why they're a benefit to you and your blaster. We're also going to be talking about consistency too, and my personal thoughts and takes on that. Let's begin, shall we? Okay. When it comes down to metal internals, like these are some examples here. Like this is my personal Caliburn. This is a U series Caliburn. Um, when I got this blaster, no exaggeration, I took it to an event. I ran 200 rounds through it. After that, the blaster wouldn't catch anymore. I wore out the 3D printed internals. Okay, this blaster was built by Captain Slug himself. Okay, so, and it's a shame he's not in the community anymore, but it is what it is. So as soon as that happened, I went out and I decided to go full bore and just buy metal internals. Trigger, catch, and a brand new plunger, rod, and head. And pusher as well. Of course, this is the modified Van James pusher in it. You know, Van does great work. He's a great designer in the community. He should make some more parts, to be honest with you. Maybe even get a hold of Saber. Maybe do something for the Harrier. Be nice. But in any event, the reason why you need metal parts is that plastic parts wear out. Okay? And if you think about it, we're putting very high spring loads in our blasters. Like, for example, that Swift up there. That blaster has metal trigger, metal catch, metal plunger head and rod, metal dart gate, metal everything pretty much. The only thing that's plastic is the safety, the mag release, and that's it. You know, but it's designed to run 300 consistently. It runs on a 1.8 spring. Don't dry fire your Swift. You'll blow the shell apart if you do that. I've seen it happen. It's rather cool to watch, but not really, because it sucks. But in any event, the reason why you put metal internals in is that your parts wear out. And when your parts wear out, where are you going to go from here? Especially since you've already doubled the spring load and everything else and already put a lot of stress on the plastic internals. Like, for example, if you take a Retaliator and you up the spring load without changing anything else, and you put too high of a spring load in it, what are you going to do? You're going to bust the internals. And then you're buying metal internals. That's exactly how it is. You know, I mean, it's rather interesting theory to have. You know, it's like we're always chasing parts. Like, for example, with the Harrier. That's the first part that broke, okay? This right here is the modified part to fix it. The part from Saber Blasters. This is a brand new ramrod and, base and head assembly, you know? And that's a modified part because the original one wears out. I don't know why that they didn't do that in the very beginning, but they didn't. But when you replace metal parts with each other, you have to consider it to be like a domino effect. And what I say by domino effect is that, let's say, you replace that part first. Eventually, because it's metal on contact, metal to plastic contact, you're going to wear out the catch. So that's why you buy a metal catch. That's a metal catch for a Retaliator, by the way. You know, they're not to do with either one of the blasters. They're just for examples. So what you would do is that you would replace the catch, and after that, you would replace the trigger as well to make everything function better. The hallmark of a good person that does metal parts, or good designer of metal parts, is to make it so there's absolutely zero variant between that metal upgraded part and the original. What I say by that is if, let's say, the stock plunger head and base come from, and you get about 300 consistently, that part better make the blaster do 300. You see what I'm saying? Is that part should perform as well or better than the original plastic part. And some people are scared and they say, well, if you put a metal part in a blaster like the Harrier, it'll cause it to shoot softer. No, if you know what you're doing, it won't. And when I say that, is that if you make the part right and it's light enough, it won't matter. Like, that's pretty much really lightweight aluminum. Okay, I think it's aircraft aluminum is as close as it is. He really knows his stuff. You see what I'm saying? But if you have parts like that are performing the same or better, that's what you want when you buy metal internals. You want it to make the blaster perform the same as it did or better. You don't want to go backwards, you always want to go forward. But some people also say, well, what about consistency? Metal parts sometimes will make consistency wear out. Well, I'm calling BS to that too. Should take an example. Let's take an example of these darts. They look the same, don't they? There's a Generation 3 Plus. You know that they weigh different. It doesn't matter. Any darts that you buy, whatever box you buy them from, whatever company you buy them from, let's say you buy a box of 200 Generation 3 Plus from Worker. You open up that box, you break out a food scale that goes all the way down to 1/100th of a gram, and you weigh that entire box, one dart by one dart by one dart. You'll see a variant of numbers. That's where your consistency issues come in most of the time. I have a feeling it's through the darts, because no two darts are exactly alike. This is not the real steel world where a 5.56 round is the same as another 5.56 round. You see what I'm saying? Or the same as a 223 round. It's not, or a 45 ACP round. It's not the same. Because they're darts, they don't have the consistency. Each one will be different just by maybe 1/100th of a gram or something like that. And if they don't have consistency, then that's why you're going to get some shots that say do 260 and some shots that do 280, and everything in between. Because it's the consistency of the dart. But if you take your darts and you weigh them against each other, you'll see the variant I'm talking about. That's where your consistency nightmare comes in. It's a really simple thing to look at too. But most people, they don't do that because they can't see the forest past the trees. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, the hallmark of a good metal part, in my opinion, is it should perform as well or better than the stock part. If it goes backwards, it's no good. That's why I was really excited when that Saber part performed so well in my Harrier. I mean, it's a rather simple thing to have. If your blaster breaks and you run on high spring loads like I do, or if you play with your blaster a lot, you might want to consider metal internals. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but it'll make your blaster last a lot longer. But in any event, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video on metal internals. Until next time, this is Milers Mods signing off.